The Chinese airline Uni-Top Airlines, based at Wuhan Tianhe Airport, has a total debt of 7.1 billion yuan, about 993 million US dollars. Among this, the debt owed to employees alone is over 100 million yuan, about 14 million US dollars. Due to being in a state of uncertain bankruptcy liquidation and restructuring for a long time, two of its Boeing 747 planes and one Airbus A300 have been put up for auction on the JD platform. As a result, the company has become the third airline in Wuhan to go bankrupt. In addition to the planes, the company's associated land and real estate were also auctioned for the first time on June 13, 2024. Despite tens of thousands of people viewing the auction, there were no buyers, which is quite disheartening.
In March 2024, the Huangpi District Court in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, issued a civil warning declaring Uni-Top Airlines bankruptcy. This marked the first Chinese airline to declare bankruptcy after the pandemic. Following its restructuring, Uni-Top Airlines attempted to auction an Airbus A300 on the JD platform on July 21, 2024. However, after 2 days, there were no bids, and the aircraft remained unsold as of July 22. A civil aviation industry insider commented, "These aircraft are too old. The cost of making them airworthy again is also high, making it uneconomical to purchase them. These aircraft are over 30 years old, so it's better to buy new ones." Unitop Airlines was established in 2008 and officially received its operation permit from the Civil Aviation Administration of China in January 2011. Its main base is the Wuhan Tianhe International Airport, with additional bases in Shenzhen, Kunming, and Tianjin cities. As of April last year, the airline owned 13 large and medium-sized cargo aircraft. The parent company, Unitop Group, has a complete industrial chain including cargo aircraft, courier companies, and logistics parks. It owns several companies, including Uni-Top Airlines and Grand Star Cargo International Airlines, covering 4 major business sectors: air, cargo, express logistics, logistics parks, and trade. By the end of 2019, several of Unitop Group's cargo aircraft had been grounded, and the company was facing imminent bankruptcy. Employees across multiple business sectors had not received salaries for several months. The company had been negotiating financing and restructuring deals with various parties, including China Merchants Group and JD.com, as well as local governments, but none were successful. In 2019, numerous companies in China faced capital turnover problems due to the macroeconomic environment and tightened financial credit policies. Additionally, the continued downturn in the international air cargo market greatly contributed to Unitop's operational difficulties. However, after the outbreak of the pandemic in 2020, the demand for air cargo increased sharply due to the need for pharmaceuticals and anti-epidemic supplies. This led to the growth in the air cargo sector. Unitop Airlines planned to resume operations, hoping to restart flights soon, but funding issues persisted, and financing and restructuring negotiations fell through, leaving no capital to restart operations. Initially, Unitop had a good business rooted in the freight forwarding industry for many years, with many customers and a large network. However, it lacked expertise in civil aviation operations. The company first acquired 3 Boeing 747s and then 7 Airbus A300s. By the fall of 2019, it was on the brink of bankruptcy, which happened before the pandemic. During the pandemic, air cargo was highly profitable, especially in the second half of 2021 when the freight rates soared. At that time, owning a 747 cargo aircraft could generate enough profit to buy another used 747 within a month of operation. Many believed Unitop could secure funding and make a significant turnaround. However, due to overly complicated relationships and inefficient procedures, no one invested in the end, and Unitop missed this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Its office building at Wuhan Tianhe Airport remained unfinished, and 3 747 cargo planes lay abandoned at the airport, almost turning into scrap. To summarize, here are 8 reasons why this private airline company was forced into bankruptcy. 1. The Boeing 747 cargo planes auctioned by Unitop were not valuable. The 747-200 is an outdated model, produced in 1970 and replaced by the 747-300 in 1991. The newest 747-200s are over 40 years old. Boeing aircraft from that era were known for their exceptional quality and durability. Only about 20 of these planes are still in operation globally, mainly in countries like Georgia, Romania, Kyrgyzstan, and Iran. Even the US president still uses a 747-200, which has been in service for nearly 50 years. However, overall, the 747-200, being over 40 years old, holds little value. It is likely that even Iran would not be interested in acquiring one. Boeing 747 cargo planes are too large, and many find them impractical. There are fewer than 20 companies that can effectively utilize 747 cargo planes globally, mainly in the US, Russia, South Korea, Japan, Azerbaijan, Luxembourg, and some Chinese airlines. The operating costs are high, and without significant batch cargo, it's challenging to keep them fully loaded. As a result, even major airlines like China Southern and China Eastern have phased out their 747-400F cargo planes. For example, Shenzhen Airlines' collaboration with Lufthansa on Jade Cargo quickly folded, and Jade's 747-400F cargo planes were later acquired at low cost by SF Express, which hasn't found much success with them. Some analysts believe SF Express mainly handles parcels, and the 747 isn't suitable for small cargo transport. National Airlines is among the major users of Boeing 747 aircraft. They retired their 747-400 models early, with some ending up in parks for educational purposes, others repurposed at airports. The 747-400 is significantly more valuable than the 747-200. At the Capital Airport, numerous 747-400F aircraft can be seen parked. Qatar Airways struggled to utilize their 747 cargo planes effectively. They retired two 747-400F freighters this year and sent them to the US. Emirates also owned a fleet of 747-400F cargo planes, which are now all in the US. In the US, 747 cargo planes are highly valued due to the country's advanced economy and the high volume of valuable goods needing global transport. The 747-400F, being about 20 years younger than the 200F, remains in high demand among US cargo companies like National Airlines. 3. Uni-Top Airlines' flight volume ranks only 9th nationwide, unable to surpass other airlines. According to the Civil Aviation Administration's 2019 flight schedule plan, China had 10 airlines operating cargo routes, 7 of these including SF Airlines, China Postal Airlines, Air China Cargo Airlines, YTO Cargo Airlines, Longhao Airlines, and Unitop Airlines were dedicated cargo airlines. SF Airlines had the highest weekly flight volume, accounting for 34.7% of total cargo flights, followed by China Postal Airlines at 16.5%, with Unitop Airlines ranking 9th at only 3.7%. 4. Unitop Airlines cargo routes were all international, facing fierce competition. Unitop operates 13 international routes, mainly from Kunming to South Asia. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Transportation received an application from Unitop for a Wuhan to Chicago cargo route, which was not approved. Currently, the global air cargo market continues to decline. Unitop has no stable cargo sources and faces intense competition from comprehensive logistics providers domestically and internationally, putting significant pressure on its operations. China's 4 major airlines are all losing money, even competing in international routes. Discussing the reasons for the losses among China's 4 major airlines, aviation industry insider Lin Zhijie told China Business Network, "The competition from high-speed rail is a significant factor in the first half of the year's losses for the 4 companies. Still, the underlying issue is insufficient market demand. After the surge in travel in 2023, the market has returned to rationality in 2024. Previously, people would travel regardless of ticket prices, but now they only travel if tickets are cheap. This is a significant market shift in 2024. Additionally, international routes have not yet returned to pre-2019 levels. Data shows that in 2023, international passenger traffic was only 81.7% of the same period in 2019. The limited operation of international routes has forced many wide-body aircraft, originally designed for long-haul international flights, back into domestic service. This has affected ticket prices, aircraft utilization rates, and passenger load factors for airlines. According to data from the Development Planning Department of the Civil Aviation Administration of China, airlines lost nearly 67 billion yuan in 2021, while airport companies lost about 24.6 billion yuan. The recovery path for the aviation industry is long and difficult. Survival has become the sole focus of airlines, airports, and the entire aviation industry. Besides live streaming sales, some airlines have developed into other side businesses, such as food delivery, meal plans, and online stores. 6. Due to the US-China trade war and concerns about economic security, flights between China and the US have only recovered to 20% of pre-pandemic levels. The slow recovery of flights connecting China and North America has become increasingly evident. As of fall 2024, the total number of scheduled flights is only 20% of what it was in the same period in 2019, before the pandemic. This reduction is also influenced by the tense relations between the two countries. Additionally, passenger demand may have shifted towards Southeast Asia and Europe, where China has introduced short-term visa exemptions. The decline in travel demand between China and the US is significant. Concerns over economic security and the adversarial relationship between the two countries have cast a shadow over travel. In the first 4 months of 2024, only about 210,000 businesses and tourist visas were issued to mainland Chinese travelers, a 40% decrease compared to 2019. At the same time, the number of American students studying in China has significantly decreased. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken mentioned during his visit to China in late April 2024 that the number of American students in China has dropped from around 15,000 a decade ago to about 800. 7. Foreigners traveling to China face several obstacles beyond cultural differences and language barriers. For those considering travel to China, there are several more potential obstacles. China's advanced mobile payment and booking systems, which work seamlessly for Chinese citizens and residents, can be very challenging for newcomers. Some websites, transportation methods, and shopping options are only accessible through Chinese apps, which are sometimes only available in Chinese. Professor Chen Yong from Switzerland's EHL Hospitality Business School, an expert on China's tourism economy, believes these technical barriers can cause significant issues. He stated, "Technologies such as social network websites, online maps, payment apps, among others, which foreigners have long been accustomed to using, are either unavailable or inaccessible when they travel to China." In recent years, a confusing trend has emerged in mainland China: English road signs that are incomprehensible to foreigners. Around 2022, discussions about new translation standards for Beijing subway station names gained attention on various online platforms. Online commentators shared photos showing that numerous subway stations in China have replaced English translations with pinyin, which is the romanization of Chinese pronunciations. For example, the newly opened Beijing subway line 11 in 2021 labeled station as Zhan and international airport as 国际机场. In Tianjin, a subway sign for "to the international airport" was translated as "to 国际机场." Some commentators jokingly suggested changing CCTV, the English abbreviation for China Central Television, to pinyin. Many people in China believe that changing English to pinyin not only causes confusion, but also raises concerns about whether this indicates a shift towards cultural isolation and extreme conservatism. 8. Global geopolitical changes have impacted China's business and living environment. The new anti-espionage law, effective from July 2023, is one such policy. Professor Huang Songshan, head of the Tourism Research Center at Edith Cowan University, attributed this downturn to the shifting geopolitical landscape globally. He wrote, "Most individuals in Western nations hold unfavorable views towards China. The Chinese government's tightening grip on societal regulations could potentially cause discomfort for foreign travelers in China." The U.S. government has advised travelers to reconsider travel to mainland China due to risks of arbitrary law enforcement, including exit bans and wrongful detention. Australia has also urged travelers to exercise a high degree of caution, warning that Australians could face arbitrary detention or strict enforcement of broadly defined national security laws. These political conditions have affected flight availability and prices. In 2021, China launched the Hello China campaign to welcome foreign tourists, but it was not very effective. In August 2023, China's Ministry of Culture and Tourism relaunched the campaign with a new logo featuring pandas and Chinese seals. They began a vigorous overseas promotion, holding tourism exhibitions globally 2 to 3 times per month, covering the Middle East, Central Asia, Europe, North America, South America, and Asia. They introduced visa exemptions for 11 European countries, Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, and Thailand, and expanded the 72 and 144-hour visa-free transit policy to 54 countries. However, there's a contradiction in the frequent warnings from the Chinese government and street advertisement about foreign spies, claiming that foreign tourists, journalists, and businessmen might steal Chinese secrets. The Economist noted that President Xi Jinping's paranoia has made China increasingly isolated and closed off. Cross-border exchanges are shrinking, signaling a move towards isolation. The slow recovery of international routes, lack of foreign tourists, and reduced foreign investments have significantly impacted the aviation industry. Many aircraft designed for long-haul international routes have been moved back to domestic service, affecting ticket prices, aircraft utilization rates, and passenger load factors. Reports from China's 4 major airlines highlight that the overall recovery of the international market is below expectations, leading to oversupply. Domestic market competition intensifies, facing challenges. Professor Zhou Jianjun from the Civil Aviation Management Institute of China predicts that the aviation transport market in 2024 may not show very optimistic results. The first quarter might be better than 2023, but the third quarter may not be as satisfactory. The overall theme for the aviation industry in 2024 will be one of overcoming challenges. Chinese Premier Li Qiang, in a speech in Beijing on September 21, 2023, tried to encourage Chinese enterprises by stating that the Chinese economy is at a critical juncture of high-quality development and needs to boost confidence and maintain efforts in transforming and upgrading. This is the Chinese Communist Party's way of turning crises into opportunities, essentially trying to put a positive spin on the economic challenges.